All right, welcome everyone. Today we're diving into a top-level security briefing on one of the most incredible defense networks in existence, the immune system. We're going to explore how it protects a nation of trillions of cells, the nation that is your body. So, let's get started.
Just think about it for a second. With every breath you take, every surface you touch, you're being exposed to a constant barrage of potential threats, bacteria, viruses, you name it. So how on earth do you survive this relentless, invisible siege day in and day out?
Well, the answer, of course, is your immune system. And to really wrap our heads around just how complex and brilliant it is, we're going to use a pretty powerful analogy. We're going to look at the body as if it were a country, and the immune system as its entire national security force.
Okay, so first things first, let's establish the fundamental framework for this whole briefing, the idea of the body as a nation constantly under siege.
Here's how it all maps out. The body? That's our country. The skin and our mucosal linings? Those are the national borders. All those nasty pathogens like bacteria and viruses? They're the criminals and invaders trying to get in. And the entire national security apparatus? Well, that's the immune system. Keep this framework in mind because it's the key to understanding everything that comes next.
So where does a nation's security begin? Well, it starts at the borders and with the training of its elite forces. And you know what? The body is no different.
Every good nation needs a border wall, and our first line of defense is exactly that. You've got the obvious physical barriers, the skin and mucous membranes acting like fences and walls. Then you have things like stomach acid, which act as chemical detectors that just neutralize invaders on contact. And in your airways, you have this incredible surveillance system of mucus and cilia that traps intruders and literally sweeps them out before they can cause any trouble.
But sometimes invaders get past the border. And when that happens, you need trained personnel ready to go. That whole process starts in the bone marrow. You can think of this as the National Recruitment Center. This is where all our security personnel, every single immune cell, gets its start from stem cells. Some recruits, like our B cells, get fully trained right here before they're deployed. Now, for the most specialized operatives, the T cells, they get sent to an elite training academy, the thymus. And the training here is absolutely brutal. They face two make-or-break tests. First, can they recognize the nation's official ID cards? And second, just as important, will they ignore the nation's own law-abiding citizens? If a recruit fails either test, they are eliminated. No second chances. This ruthless process ensures that only the most loyal and effective soldiers make it out into the field, preventing a civil war or what we call autoimmune disease.
Okay, so our forces are recruited and trained. It's time to deploy them. Because effective security isn't just about having soldiers, it's about intelligence and rapid response out in the field.
And those field operations are coordinated from a network of security hubs. Think of your lymph nodes as local police stations, constantly screening for trouble in the surrounding neighborhoods. The spleen? That's like the Central Intelligence Agency, filtering the entire blood supply. And then you have MALT. These are like specialized community guards posted at all the major entry points, like your gut and lungs.
All right, let's meet the team. Here's the field manual. Your neutrophils, they're the first responders, the beat cops who are first on the scene. Macrophages are the detectives. They engulf the bad guys and collect evidence. Dendritic cells are the master intelligence officers. They gather intel and deliver it to the higher-ups to launch a major response. T helper cells are the generals, coordinating the entire battle plan. Toxic T cells? They're the commandos, the assassins sent to take out compromised cells. B cells are the weapons manufacturers, pumping out precision-guided missiles called antibodies. And finally, the natural killer cells. These are the special forces, authorized to eliminate suspicious targets on site, no questions asked.
So you have all these different agents operating in the field. How do they know who's a friend and who's a foe? And how do they coordinate with each other? Well, it all comes down to identification and communication systems.
Identification is absolutely crucial. And the way our system tells friend from foe is with something called the Major Histocompatibility Complex, or MHC. Let's just call it the National ID Card System. Basically, all your regular cells have an MHC class I molecule. It's like a standard citizen ID. But your professional security cells have a special kind of ID, an MHC class 2, which they use to show other agents what the enemy looks like.
This brings up a really critical question. What happens when a citizen cell is compromised? What if a virus hijacks a cell and forces it to display a forged ID? How does the security system deal with an inside job?
The response is swift, and it is decisive. Those commandos we mentioned, the cytotoxic T cells, are immediately dispatched to execute any cell that's presenting a foreign or forged ID. Now, what if a compromised cell gets clever and tries to just hide its ID card altogether? Well, that's a job for the special forces, the natural killer cells. They see a cell without an ID as inherently suspicious, and they eliminate it.
Now, this level of coordination requires a seamless, secure communication network. And that's the job of cytokines. Think of them as the encrypted wireless signals that all the security forces use to talk to each other, call for backup, and coordinate attacks. But this system is incredibly powerful, and if the signals go haywire, it can lead to what's called a cytokine storm. Basically, total chaos and massive friendly fire damage to the entire nation.
Okay, now for one of the most amazing features of this whole system. It's not just reactive, it actually learns from experience. It remembers its enemies, which gives it a huge veteran's edge in future conflicts.
Just take a look at this. The first time the nation encounters a brand new invader, the response is decent, but it's a little slow to get going. But here's the brilliant part. After that first battle, the system creates veteran soldiers, memory T and B cells. So the second time that same invader dares to show up, look at that response. It is exponentially faster, stronger, and completely overwhelming. And that right there, that's immunological memory. It's the entire principle that makes vaccines work.
But of course, as with any security system this complex, it's not infallible. Things can go wrong. So we need to talk about what happens when these defenses fail, when there are system malfunctions.
We can really group these failures into four main categories. First, immunodeficiency. This is simply a weak defense, leaving the nation wide open to attack. Second, you have hypersensitivity, like allergies. This is a massive, damaging overreaction to something that isn't even a real threat. Third is autoimmunity. This is the worst-case scenario, where the security forces lose control and start attacking their own citizens, a full-blown civil war. And finally, cancer, which is essentially an internal rebellion, where the body's own cells go rogue and the immune system fails to stop them.
So, when you pull it all together, the analogy really holds up, doesn't it? From the border patrols of our innate immunity to the highly trained special forces of the adaptive system, it truly is a remarkable national security apparatus. It works silently, tirelessly, protecting the nation of your body every single second of your life. It's an incredible system, and understanding it this way really shows just how much is going on under the surface to keep us safe.